Yes, everyone, what's going on? My name is Stephen Howson. This is Stretford Paddock. We're giving you the news today. Today, the news is, of course, starting with Bruno Fernandes. What's going on, man? What is going on? Monday, loads of reports were saying this shit's going to be done today. Loads of different journalists from all over the place saying, thought it's going to be done, thought it's going to be done, thought it's going to be done. Do you know what? Manchester United could fucking drag anything out, couldn't they? United could drag New Year's Eve out till February. We are not quick at getting deals done. The Wan-Bissaka deal was agreed in March, and it still took us till, was it July? I think it was July, wasn't it, when it eventually got over the line. Right, here's what the current word on the street is. Now, there's a very interesting one. Now, this is so football Twitter about getting excited about it, but Fernandes' agent liked a post from Who Scored saying... Bruno Fernandes has played a direct hand in 48 goals in 48 league games since the beginning of the last season, and the caption on it was the lowdown on Manchester United's impending arrival, Bruno Fernandes. So he's liked it. And Bruno Fernandes shared him liking it onto his own Instagram page. Now, I don't really like doing transfer news based on what some fucker did on Instagram, but that's interesting at least, isn't it? And you could say, maybe he didn't read the caption, maybe he's just gone, have some of that, but I think everything points to that. And it's not just that. There's also everything that's going on in the Portuguese news. Everybody's saying that. I don't know what the hold-up is now. So there's a bit of a wrap-up in... Have I lost where I put this now? There we go, found it. Right, player on the way to Manchester United. This is in Sports Witness. And Ebola was saying... it's all done. The guy's on his way. Mendes can start pushing on the transfer soon. They've done a little bit of a record of what all the different Portuguese outlets are saying. Ojogo put it on the front page, and they're saying Bruno Fernandes on the way to United. Record is saying transfer is a matter of time and opportunity. Some of them are saying it's totally all done. Some of them are saying the fine details need to be sorted out. There's still the issue of which player that Sporting are going to take on loan. It seems like they're really keen on having a player. The 4 players that they've brought up, this is on Ebola's front page, is Pereira, Andreas Pereira, Joel Pereira, Marcos Rojo and Angel Gomez. They think Rojo's too much on wages. They don't really need the goalkeeper. Angel's too young and inexperienced. So it might be, and I actually think it'd be a great move for Andreas Pereira to go in the other way for this transfer. So maybe it's just a case of that. Maybe United are trying to say, look, this is how much we're going to pay. Playing hardball. I think you can play hardball. I mean, all of us that have watched him, no one's mega arsed if we do get rid of Andres Pereira, I don't think. But United can point to him playing, 25, 26, 27 games so far this season and go, well, that's a player that's a regular first choicer for us. Maybe you should pay us like a regular first choice money, or we can get that knocked off, whatever the price is for Bruno Fernandes. Either way, I think the entire of the Portuguese media, who I would assume have got a decent handle on this, although they didn't in the summer, it seems to be that that's the case. United are also sort of letting the cat out of the bag that, 1, we're in for him, and 2, this feels like it's fairly close as well. So I think that we're expecting to see something. The only other thing that really broke last night and yesterday in terms of what's going on with Bruno Fernandes is that Sporting might want to drag their feet a little bit because they play Benfica Friday night and they would like him involved in that game. I don't know about you lot, but I'd like him involved at Anfield on Sunday as well. So can they get it done in the meantime? He's not going to play Friday, Sunday with having to do a medical in between, is he? So it's either going to be he plays for Sporting against Benfica, or we have him in time to go to Anfield. I would think that the deal needs to be done tomorrow at the latest, or we need to hear of him flying in for that medical tomorrow morning to make sure that's all done Thursday, so he can train with the lads on Friday and Saturday, and then he can feature on Sunday. Otherwise, don't hold your breath. We're looking at the week after before we get a chance to see him, which is mad because then you're talking like the 20th of January. So the fact that we've managed to get all the way through January without actually getting a deal over the line, it's not good, is it? Like 1st of January, if we'd really wanted this done, it should have come in and got done straight away. Righty, next one that we're going to be talking about then is a name that we talked about a lot in the summer, and then it just went dead, and now one thing has popped up with it. So let's get into this one. Kalidou Koulibaly. Certainly not in the mould of all the rest of the players that Manchester United have been linked to or bought. Definitely not English and definitely not young either. He's getting on in years, but still definitely absolutely banging as a footballer. He has played pretty much first choice for Napoli this season, featuring all their Champions League games where he was very good in the Champions League. And he's been decent, if not amazing, in Serie A as well. 2 yellows and 1 red he's picked up so far this season. Now, what's really interesting is there was a guy on TV, a station called 7 Gold. I've never heard of it either. And there's an Italian journalist called Fabio Santini, and he was talking, and he just dropped Napoli will sell Kalidou Koulibaly to Manchester United for a figure of around about 70 to 75 million euros. It seems all done. Naturally, such a deal will only be closed in June and certainly not the January transfer window. Sports Witness have done a little bit of digging. They said they can't find any original video for this. And they say the 7 Gold TV station website hasn't been updated since June. And the one for the show that Santini was on, which is called Il Processo di Mascade, is currently under maintenance. So does that mean he didn't say it? Does that mean he did say it and they're just like shit at admin for the behind the scenes of it? A couple of the Naples-based websites, including Area Napoli, which is a really big one, and Mundo Napoli, are saying something along the lines of that this was said. Apparently this geezer also said back in December that turned out to be correct, that Ancelotti would end up at Everton and that Arsenal were going to try and bring in Arteta to succeed Emery. So I find that very interesting that he's nailed those two things only last month and he's coming out and saying this. But apparently he also said that Real Madrid were going to buy Sung Hyung-min for 70 million. So could be talking out of his fucking hoop. But it's a really interesting one. That's the only report I've seen on Coulibaly, and nobody else is really catching fire with that one. I would love to see him. Him and Maguire is a title-winning centre-half partnership. Now, the other 9 spots we can have conversation about, but those two would be absolutely fucking belting, I think. That's a guy that's a real leader. I see him doing things as a defender that I just go, fuck me, we ain't got anyone that does that. Someone's mentioning there, Coulibaly means bye-bye Lindelof. It might mean Lindelof drops to be the backup defender to cover for injuries and stuff like that, which we are definitely going to be getting. Now, there's this stat going around at the moment about Lindelof, which is that he's about to break Van Dijk's record of not being dribbled past. What the fuck sort of stat is this, man? I mean, I do like stats, and stats are useful, but this is a nonsense stat. Centre-halves traditionally aren't getting dribbled past left, right and centre anyway. They're either getting passed around, crossed behind, or they're shooting from in front of. It's not the same as a fullback. A fullback getting dribbled past, that's a different thing, and that happens frequently. The issue with saying Lindelof hasn't been dribbled past in however many games is it makes it sound like he's been an absolute rock. But if you go and actually drill down, there was a video on Reddit, I want to say October, November sort of time, which had highlighted all of the recent instances of Lindelof being out of position. And this, I don't mean this to sound like any sort of hit piece. I'm just trying to highlight, like, saying that he's not been dribbled past. It's like saying he hasn't handballed it in how long. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like, and doesn't really happen a great deal anyway for centre-halves. That's why it was bollocks when it was Van Dijk, and it's bollocks when it's Lindelof. The video that I'm talking about with Lindelof, it's shown so many instances of where he's came out of position and they've just passed the ball around him into the space that he was in. Now, he's not been dribbled past, so that doesn't go for one in the dribbled past column, but he's fucking out of position. So I'm not really a big fan of that stat. I don't think it really means a hell of a lot. So I'm going to fucking file that in the not asked whether he gets dribbled past or not sort of folder. It's like saying, like, how many times does your goalkeeper score? Well, our goalkeeper scores more than yours. All right, well, that's not really what the fucking... Shut up. The other bit of news, really, that's out there is about Mason Greenwood. Solskjaer saying that it might be a bit too soon for him to be going to the Euros. And look, that's what a manager's supposed to do. He's supposed to protect young players. You need to stop really listening and taking everything word for word that managers say in press conferences. Him saying that, oh, maybe it's a bit too soon for him. That's not Solskjaer going, I hope he doesn't go. I hope he has a shit international career, which are the conclusions and lines that people draw from this sort of stuff. Rather, think about what a manager's there to do in those circumstances. He's protecting his player. So he's going to be like, yeah, maybe it's a bit too soon. Maybe this, that, and the other. You know, Solskjaer's coming out and being the anti-Mourinho. And I think he's gone too far at times. Some of the stuff he said in press conferences have been Moyes-ish. And you go, fucking hell, Ollie, what are you talking about? But you have to look at the actions of the guy. The actions of the guy is, well, he's playing youngsters a lot. Brandon Williams has come into the team, rightfully earned his place as left back, and now he's our starting left back. Mason Greenwood is the first guy that comes off the bench usually, and if he starts in the games that it's likely to be a little bit more rotated. And actually, when you look at some of the bigger games that he's played, you know, Spurs at home starting, unbelievable. You know, he's putting his money where his mouth is, and the youngsters are getting a chance, and they're not just getting a chance against Astana away, where loads of them got the chance. They're getting their chance in very, very big Premier League meaningful matches. Look at what he's doing. Look at his actions. He said he didn't want to lose Lukaku. He said he didn't want to lose Sanchez. He said he didn't want to lose Ashley Young. Two of them have gone, and one looks like he's going, and doesn't look like he's going to be involved again until he has gone. Actions, not words. Stop listening to what they say in the press conferences. There's a massive difference between the intent of a press conference and what the manager's actually thinking. One of the best people I actually think in press conferences is Pep Guardiola, because I think he's one of the fucking snidest, most ruthless men out there. And he comes out and says stuff with a smile on his face in a press conference. And then you know that he's gone and spoke to the journalists as soon as the press conference finished, off the record. And then they're like, oh, it's my understanding that Pep wants shut of half of his fucking defence. But in the press conference, it's very sly. He sat there and someone asked him a question, was like, oh, are you happy with your defence? He's like, yeah, love it. They're all great. And then as soon as the press conference finishes, he's grabbed a couple of the journalists and he's like, I want a new defence. All of them. Fucking gone. But they can't go against the quote that he just said 30 seconds ago, so they have to write things like, oh, it's my understanding that Manchester City chief Pep Guardiola would probably like to cash in on all his defence and sign new ones. So you have to be really careful about what's being said and the games that people are trying to play around all this sort of stuff. Get some questions in and I'll read some of them questions. What about Sumer? Now, that got a little bit giddy with people yesterday, seeing that Woodward was on his way to France on a train. It isn't Woodward that does the negotiation, so don't worry about it. It's Matt Judge. He was probably going for lunch. If Ed comes out and says he wants rid of them all, if I think he means EA, I don't know, I mean Ollie, I assume. If he comes out and says he wants rid of them all, he loses a strong negotiation position for price. Of course he is, yeah. By my words, it also means that Pogba also out. Yeah, I think that Paul Pogba is leaving Manchester United. Absolutely do. Yeah, I completely fucking believe that. Yeah, I'm certain that Paul Pogba wants out, has told everybody wants out. And although he's injured at the moment, I do question some of the injuries that he had earlier in the season. And I think that he wants to go. Alex says, Bruno cup tied for Europa. No, he's not cup tied for Europa. They got rid of cup tied last season. Apparently Pep wants to spend more on defence than the US government. I think he has. Director of football needed very badly. And do you know what? I did a podcast with Chris Casper on Monday on my channel, on Stephen Howson channel, and I was asking him what a director of football role is. He's sporting director at Salford City for Neville and Beckham and Giggs and Scholes and that. Obviously played with them in the class of 92 as well, which is, you know, it's essentially technical director, football directors, director of football, sporting director. It's the same fucking job with a slightly different title. We went in depth on what his job role is, how transfers are conducted, the ins, the outs, all that sort of stuff. So really interesting podcast, quite insightful, definitely worth a look. What do I think of Rojo's future? I don't know. I think the issue that we're seeing with Sporting is that when you try and offload players like him, like Jones, like Young, they're on so much fucking cash that someone like, let's say a Sporting or a Watford or an Inter Milan or a Villa would say, yeah, I'll pick that player up. It'd probably be quite useful. Phil Jones to Villa, yeah, maybe his first choice, maybe his second choice, maybe he's like, they're not really 100% sure where he would be, but they go, he's on how fucking much? Like, I pay him like 35 grand a week. That's probably what he's worth. He's on. No, I think I'll fucking sign 4 players for that. How about that? We need a right winger, in my opinion, says Safe. Yeah, I'd agree on that. So first need to buy Maddison, then to sell Pogba. I'm not 100% sure that we'll be getting Maddison. I think Maddison, Grealish are all on one list. I'm thinking Bruno's probably on a different list, in all honesty. What's the update with Rojo and Lingard? Are they on the outs? I think there's something in Jesse, yeah. I really do. I actually think Jesse might go. I'm not sure whether he would go in January, but I think he probably is going. Ross says, Casper interview was great. Interesting that the 99 treble was won out of a shed of a training ground. Yeah, that's one of the things that he said in the interview, is that at the cliff where United trained until we moved to Carrington, I think it was like 2 years later that they moved to Carrington, the one pitch that's at the cliff, half of the pitch was the first team, a quarter of the pitch was reserves, and another quarter was the youth team. What the fuck? How mad's that? Percentage chances that we get Bruno or Coulibaly, says non-stop. I think we're in the 7 to 8 out of 10 sort of territory for Bruno. Coulibaly, I'd say it's under 10% at the moment. Probably like a 1 out of 10. I don't see anyone else talking about it. If there's more people start talking about it, I think there's probably more likely something in it. Is Bruno really coming, or is it just a rumour? No, I think, look, we could still mess this up. We could sit there and shrug our shoulders and say we're not paying more than X, and X might be like 40 million, and Sporting might be like, well, go fuck yourself then. We're not taking that for him. Negotiations could easily break down, but I do think that there's something in it. I do think that we want him. You guys let me know. Give me a thumbs up if you think we're going to get him, and a thumbs down if you don't at this stage. We'll see what you guys are saying on the old vote there. And make sure to subscribe if you're not. The lads will be back later. I keep getting your questions in. I'll read a couple more out. The lads are going to be back later for team news, watch along, and a review today. So definitely come and check those out. Is Rashford taking Raiola as his agent? No, he's not. I can tell you that for a fact. He's not. And Raiola said later that Pogba wanted to stay. Again, don't listen to every single thing people say in press conferences. He said that Pogba wanted to stay, but he also said he wouldn't bring anybody here because the club's fucked. So what do you think is the reality? Grealish or Bruno? Pick my first choice. Bruno. Any chance we get Grealish this winter? No. If Villa sold us Grealish, that's them basically just fucking saying, all right, we're going down to the Championship, isn't it? You know, it's going to be a struggle for them to stay up anyway, I think. I think it would be impossible for them to stay up without Grealish. What's my take on Hakimi? I don't think we need him. Can wage system change to a merit thing? Yeah, I think everyone would like it to change to a merit thing, wouldn't it? I mean, if you're winning Premier League after Premier League, the board, the fans, nobody would have an issue paying them whatever the fuck they want, whatever they're earned. But you'd never sign a player, because a player would be like, hang on. So if we lost like 4 games in a month, I'm going to earn like minimum wage. Absolutely fucking not. I think you're going to be sad come the end of the window. Why do you think that? Any chance Jesse leaving in the summer? Yeah, I think so. To be honest, I think that's pretty likely. I think you don't take on Raiola unless you're looking to get a move. What I find very curious is the word on the street seems to be that actually Jesse's been with Raiola for about 3 to 4 months, but it only broke last week. So I find the timing of when that broke very curious, and I also have to wonder who put that out there. Who put it out there that Jesse was working with Raiola, and why that sort of time? Because the timing of everything that had just gone on with the Pogba stuff makes me think that it's probably someone that wanted there to be a bit of a shitstorm about Jesse going with him. I'm sure there still would have been a shitstorm if he'd have joined him, you know, when supposedly he joined him back in like August, September. But the shitstorm of the timing of everything that Raiola had just said about United, I have my suspicions on that one. No update on Jude Bellingham, the kid from Birmingham. I have no idea on that one. Zoeb says, why don't we hire a director of football? What is the problem in getting a director of football? I don't think the club currently are, and I think United, my understanding is that the role at United was going to be called a technical director, which I don't understand the fucking difference. It's the same fucking job at the end of the day, isn't it? I think the issue from people that I know that have been interviewed for it have said that it's not a real fucking job. So I have to go with that one. Chaitana says Steve likes pineapple on pizza. That's a fucking lie. Would I like to see Adama signed? I said Adama a couple of years ago and everyone fucking give me shit for it. I rate him. Yeah. Any update on Axel's fitness? Not a clue. I don't know why there's people not asking these in the press conferences. What's going on with Demi Mitchell? What's going on with Axel? What's going on with a few of these lads? Right, I'm going to wrap it up there, but make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on notifications. Oh, so much fucking content coming out. So much content on Stretford Paddock at the moment. Up to 4 videos a day, man. Absolute fucking machine. If you like that sort of shit, stick around. And it's only going to get better and better. Laters.